Friends, new guitar on the bench today, and it's a lefty, and it's a very nice guitar indeed. The weight is something else. Really heavy Telecaster. Now it's not a Fender, it's a lefty, like I said, made in, I don't know, made in Japan. Of course it's made in Japan. It's a Tokai Breezysound, mid-80s. Sticker on the back there saying made in Japan. There you go, in here you can just make it out. Wow, fantastic stuff. What a weight and what a lovely piece of ash. Well, 3 pieces of ash really, but look at that. Well, the top seems to be 2-piece. Oh, it's 2-piece ash. 2-piece. What a weight this is. Look at the thickness of it as well. So this belongs to a guy who oddly lives around the corner. A guy on occasion I've had a beer or two with in my local, which is just right around the corner from where I live, and he never knew I was a guitar tech. He never knew this was my job, and he's found me on Facebook. Couldn't believe it. Says, I can't believe it's you. I've been watching this looking up for time. So why is this in? Well, it has fretboards. The tone doesn't work at all. It doesn't do anything when you turn it left or right, off or on or whatever. There are a couple of high frets, so we're going to give a fret level and a setup. We're going to sort this electrical problem out, and that really is it. Tokai stamped bridge plate there, 6 individual saddles, which I like to see. I do like the 3 saddle traditional, but I prefer the 6 myself. Everything else, vintage style tuners. They do have something on there, but I cannot quite read it. There is a name on there. Let's try and should have put my glasses on. So let's have a look, see what we've got here. Oh, it just says deluxe on there. It doesn't say any brand or anything. Could well be made by Goto, could be Cluzons for all I know. I do not know. But anyway, fabulous looking guitar. I know it's upside down. It's a left-handed guitar. Oh, there you go. There's the right way up. How's that for you? So it's going to have a 4-bit complete setup. We'll check the frets over. Very weedy, not weedy frets, but small frets. I would say 2.3mm wide. There's not a great deal of height on there. Just under a millimetre by the look of it. About 0.9mm left on those. Intonation looks to be pretty close to how it should be. So I'm going to enjoy doing this one. So just wanted to show it, give you a little introduction. Everything else seems to be fine. The bow nut. One thing that lets this guitar down ever so slightly is the decal on there, because you can see it under the lacquer. I would like that to be completely invisible, and by rights it should be. So I don't know why it isn't, but what a stunning guitar. So I'm going to get it plugged in, check the setup as it is, just check the intonation is pretty much close to where it is. Going to look at the electrics, we're going to look at the tone pot, probably going to replace that, but I will squirt some switch cleaner in there to see if we can get it do anything. It could just be that the carbon on there is built up and it's just not working that way. Get some switch cleaner on there, it might fix the problem. If not, we will change the pot, and I will come back and let you know what I think and feel. The frets are very worn on the top 3 strings, the thinnest 3 strings, especially around these areas around here. So there's been a lot of playing around this area because they are quite a bit flattened out. Whether it needs a refret or not, I don't know, but the frets here are really low. I would say about 0.6mm. Might be a bit difficult to will be very difficult to recrown those. So let's have a look first. I could always get it playing for now. If I'm going to recommend a refret, something we could do, you know, a little bit later on, I would think I would probably going to be recommending a refret, looking at these frets closely again. I will show you what I mean a little bit more and closer up once I've got the strings off. So come back for that. So regarding this Tokai Breezysound Telecaster, a couple of things I've noticed. The action is really quite high, and the saddles on the bridge are, the outer ones are as low as they can go. So the only way we're going to remedy this high action is to shim the neck. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a shim right at the end, right in the heel area, and I'm probably going to go with probably 0.5mm shim right at the end there, just to bring that action down a little bit. I mean, we're about 3 I might even have to go a little bit bigger, so about 3/4 of a millimetre shim in this end. I'm also going to replace the tone pot. I've got a regular 250k linear pot there. No great brand name. I bought these from China. I bought them in bulk. I bought a few of them a few years ago. They weren't expensive, but they are remarkably good pots. They have a great sweep. It's a proper linear sweep. They are clean, they are clear, and they're very well built. So I'm going to stick one of those in. And nice little thing. Very, very surprising these, because I only normally use CTS Vintage or Bourne's pots, both very, very good quality. I also use, if I'm using a push-pull, well, I tend to use push-push pots, I will go for Alpha brand, Bourne's if I can get them. And I don't normally deviate from those brands, but these, every time I've used them and tried them and tested them, they've been absolutely fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure this one. I'm going to get my multimeter out in a minute. I'm going to measure that, that's pretty close to 250k. If it's around about 230, that's absolutely fine. I'm just going to check that it is a linear pot, and if it is, we're going to swap that over. So what I'm going to be doing in the meantime, I'm going to turn the camera off in a minute. What I'm going to do in the meantime, I'm going to remove the neck. In fact, I'm not going to remove the neck, I'm going to loosen the neck. I'm going to stick a shim in there and just see how much lower I can get the action by using certain shims. I'm also going to remove this control plate, and I'm going to swap the pot over after I've tested this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up my soldering iron. I'm going to get my multimeter out. We're going to measure this pot, make sure it's all working all right, and we're going to do some things with this guitar this afternoon, so back in a second. Okay, so on removing the pot, I realised it was not a 250k, it's a 500k, and I think we will find that this one will be a linear pot. And how do we find that out? Well, what we do is stick it on the multimeter there, one earth, one hot, and we turn it all the way one way, 0 that end, turn it all the way the other, or all the other way, same 570, we find out the center point, right, that's full off, full on, full off is there, full on is there. So centre point is about there, middle, and it reads 481. If it was a linear pot, that would read, if that's reading 560, that would read 280. So we know full on, that's full off is nothing. We move it a little bit, it's already shot up to 83. 212, that's just in the first 25%. And even there, halfway it's already, let's have a look there, halfway is there, that's halfway, it's already reading 496 on full 567. So that is a logarithmic pot for the tone, that's why it's only working on the last 10%. We're going to get rid of that, we're going to throw it away, and we have one of mine out of my parts drawer, B500, which is a tone pot. We'll do the same again. Common in the middle and any side, it doesn't matter which one, left or right. And we have, that's full on, it's measuring 438, so a bit less than 500, but it'll be fine. Completely off, naught, full, round about 440, so in the middle should be round about 220. Let's go in the middle, and there you go, 214 in the middle. This is a linear pot, because one way it's fully off, another way it's fully on, and halfway it's exactly half. This means we'll get a reading on this from 0 to 10. It will all the way up, it'll be a constant rise. With a logarithmic, you get it all happen at the end of the sweep. This sweep works all the way. So we're going to put this one in, replace it. This will be a lot better for a tone. I actually only use linear pots in my guitar work now, for volume and for tone. I just believe they work better that way. So this is a pot we're going with. Again, one of the cheap Chinese ones I got. We know the sweep works absolutely fine, so that's great. So I'm going to get this wired in. Once that's done, we'll move on to the neck, and we'll sort out the angle. Okay guys, so I changed the pot. The tone is working as well as it's going to work. I don't get it. I think it may be something to do with the actual wiring, the views, or the actual configuration, the views, because this pot is not really any different to the other one. It tends to work in the last 25-30% of the sweep. So it's basically an on-off switch. You've either got high tone or a trebly tone or a bassy tone. Not a great deal in between. It has a really weird three-way switch, one I've never seen before. It's not bass, I mean it's like a hybrid between a regular Fender and an import one. So I can't really do anything with that. So I'm going to leave that as is. The tone is certainly better than it was. So we're just going to get rid of this pot that was in there. Another thing I have done is I have shimmed the neck. I've used 2 pieces of shim. One yay wide and one sort of like that on the top, so it's stepping down a little bit. I'll show you more of that when I get the neck off later, but it's shimmed perfectly. We've got the action perfect at the 12th fret, so those shims have definitely worked. So really pleased with that. So I am going to take the strings off and we're going to have a look at the frets. I'm going to do this off camera. All I'm really doing is leveling a couple of frets anyway. The owner does not want to refret. He says it's way out of what he can afford right now. He says, but he'd really appreciate it if I could just level what needs leveling, or level a couple that are high and get it playable. I will show you the low frets when I've got the strings off and when I come back tomorrow, because I'm losing the light in here a little bit now. So I will show you all of that tomorrow. The frets down this end are all flat. So it's my opinion that it definitely needs a refret. We are under 0.8mm high down this side, but I'm going to do as the owner requests and get it playable. That is all he wants. So shim the neck done, tone pot replaced done, frets to level, set up to do. So I will crack on. I'll do what I can with the frets because I'm working through this evening. I may film a little bit more. We'll just have to put up with the light as it is, I think. I don't want to stop filming just because it's getting dark. So I changed my mind about that. I will film a little bit more in a short while. Strings are off. I'm just going to remove the neck, and that way I can show you the shims I put in there as well. Great to have my have a new electric screwdriver. I got one wrong way there. Great piece of kit this. Got more torque than the more expensive brands, this one. Doesn't have a problem with neck screws at all. Wrong way again, there we go. So, neck off. The shims, the way I put the shims in there is like this. Basically, I've not taped them in, but basically that kind of shape, a T shape, and I have 2 pieces. One piece underneath, you see it there, and one piece that goes on top. And it's like a small step. I will tape or glue these together, maybe even glue them in, not quite sure yet. I'll move the body onto the spare bench over there. We don't need the body. We're not working on the body, we're not doing anything with the shims. We are going to look at the neck, in particular the frets. Just out of the way. So, looks pretty straight now. The problem with this is the adjuster for the truss rods is at this end, which is really annoying because you can't do it on the guitar. You've got to take it off the guitar to set the neck straight. Now that is, still got some relief in there, so we need to just to that. See where we are, just slackened it off. And now I've got a stupid amount of relief. So, I'm going to get to okay. still not straight. We don't have a great deal of adjustment in this. That's quite tight. I wouldn't want to go much tighter than that on the truss rod, but I think now we should be pretty much straight. I think that's as straight as we're going to. There is absolutely nothing on these frets. Nothing at all. I highly recommend a complete refret on these. There's no height to these frets at all. I mean, not a great deal I can do with the truss rod any more than that. I've tightened it up. It's not going to go much tighter than it is. I could remove the nut and put a washer in there. Something I've done in the past. Okay, we are not getting a great deal of... we've got some back bow in there. Okay, that's good. But we still have a bit of relief in this end. So, let's just explain. We would like the neck dead straight if possible. This one kind of goes up, down, up. Not by a lot, but that is not a rare thing. It's more common than you might think. And what we tend to do is get it as straight as we can. And we use the frets as the level. Because at the end of the day, the neck is not your playing surface. The frets are. So don't think that the spaces between the frets are your playing surface, because they're not. Now, I'm having a closer look at these frets and they are worn. They are really low. Am I concerned? Not particularly. We'll get it playable, but I will not be able to crown those frets. So I'm not even going to attempt to. Again, not a great deal of adjustment in by using the truss rod. I like to get just a little bit more of that relief gone. So another 8th turn, I think, should do it. And that is as much as I'm going to go. And I'm very happy with that. That is straight. So, let me just come and show you where I can. Frets are very, very low. They are certainly under a millimetre. I'll try and get the angle right so you can see. I don't know how much of this you will see. See there, there's no height to these frets at all. Nothing on them. Wear wise, all the wear is down this side at the bottom. More wear down here than on the base side. There's nothing on these frets at all. I would say they are between 0.6 and 0.9 millimeters. 0.6 on the treble side. There's no way I'm going to be able to recrown these frets if I do level some, but what I am going to do in the meantime is I'm going to check for level. I do apologise if you can hear my tumble dryer in the background. I've left the workshop door open. We're going to grab the fret locker. I'm just going to have a quick scoot over the fingerboard, over the fret, sorry. There's one high one already, and there. A little bit high, so we've got 2. I have told the owner of this guitar, if he's not paying for a refret, I'll do a fret level as best I can. I actually know the guy. I've had a couple of beers with the guy before he goes to my local pub. He didn't know I was a guitar tech until he found me. These 3 high frets. Till he found me on Facebook. He thinks I'm drink with this guy. I've had a drink with him, I think once in the pub. Spoke to him, as you do, while playing pool. So we have 4 high frets there. So nothing major. I'm going to, that's 5 high frets. I'm going to level these 5 high frets, and I'm not going to level this way, I'm going to level that way. So I'll be taking a flat file and I will be just gently going across the frets until we get the level with the one next to it normal. I'm not going to scoot this way, I'm going to spot level. It's not the ideal method of leveling frets because you might have, it is possible one could be low rather than high. So when I go across and do them, I'm going to show you exactly now how I do them rather than talk about it. Much easier to show you. I've had somebody online trying to tell me that this two-way file is a one-way file. It's not, it's a two-way. I know what I buy. This is a fantastic file. This is made by Valorb in Switzerland. It is a number 4 cut. It is so smooth, yet so sharp. Fantastic, fantastic file. And I'm going to basically cheat. This is not the way. If you go to, I was saying, if you go to luthier school, this would not be the way to show you how to do it, but I'm going to do it this way because I'm experienced. I would normally tape up the fingerboard in case I slip with the file. I'm not going to slip with the file. So let's have a look at these frets. This one is high in the middle and high at this edge. Because I'm experienced at this, I'm going to hold the file. I'm not going to take the fingerboard up, and I'm only going to go this way, and I'm just going to go across the top like so, and that's it. 3 strokes and check again. In the middle we're fine. Just on this edge here, so I'm going to go again. I'm going to wipe the file. Again, keeping it straight. Just a couple of strokes. Following the radius. Still a tiny bit high on this edge. Wipe the file. And that is it. Oh, a little bit there. Just in this area. Right in this area where my finger is. So again, just nice and gentle. And there you go. We have that fret level. That is now level with the 2 around it. That's the important thing. We're going to check one across, and if that's level, we know that one was now high. So that's how I level frets. Only filing that way. I will attempt to recrown. I don't think there's enough material on there to recrown that, but I will have a go. I certainly will not be able to use my StuMac Z file on there. No chance. But anyway, that's what I'm going to do. I've got another one there to do. On the edge, in the middle, again. So I'm going to do the rest of these off camera. We don't want to go too deep with these because we're leveling the whole lot. But you see how we go. Not my preferred method of leveling. And certainly on frets this low, I would like to replace a lot. Did I mention that before? Pretty sure I did. Just in this one spot here now. Now that one is level, so we'll check one back, one forward, and that's good. Keep going. So that's 2 done. I've got about 3 more to do. There's one there. I'm going to crack on, get these done off camera. Once I've got them level, I'm going to bring you back in and we're going to attempt to try and recrown them a little bit. As much as it pains me to not do this job properly because obviously of restrictions imposed by the owner, I'm not going to try and recrown these frets. There's just not enough material. There'll be absolutely no point. The owner of the guitar knows that the frets are flat, and I've told him I will level the frets and get the guitar playable. I will get it buzz free. I've already shimmed the neck so we can get the action low enough to play. Altered the truss rod. I've replaced the pot. There's nothing else I can really do, but I am going to polish the frets. I am going to tape it up and polish them, and then I'm going to put the neck back on the guitar. I'm going to get some strings on it, get it set up, and we'll have a look at the nut slots. There's no more I can do. There's not enough on these to crown them. They are about 0.6, 0.7 mil high. They do need replacing. There's no other way around it, but it will be playable. It's not going to cost the owner a lot, and he'll certainly get a couple of years out of it. And maybe in the meantime he'll save up and we can look at doing a refret later. But I've done what I can. There's so much wear on these frets, they can't be saved. And normally I wouldn't put my name to something like this. I'm still going to do this video and release a video just to show what is possible. But I don't like putting my name to jobs like this because it is not up to my standard. I can't crown the frets because there's not enough material on them, but at least I can get the guitar playable, which is all that was asked of me. So I'm going to crack on. I'm going to get, I'm not even going to take the fingerboard up. I'm going to get some fretboard protectors, some steel wool, and I'm going to polish these frets up. You know how I do that. I'll just grab the protectors out of the drawer. The frets are now level along the whole length of the neck. I actually did 8 frets when all said and done. Not a great deal of work, especially when you know what you're doing. It's just, you know. So let's look at these fret protectors or fingerboard protectors. There they are, these gubbins, wide one and a slim one. Wide one from fret 12 down, slim one from fret 21 or wherever it is down. So blah blah. I'm just going to basically place this over fingerboard. Just try and get the radius a little bit better. Go in with some steel wool, finest grade steel wool, extra fine, super fine, whatever. And just get these frets polished up. We've got a little bit too much radius on this. We don't want to be struggling. So yeah, I've got to look at the lighting in this place, or at least get my spotlight on the other bench sorted out so I can work on the other bench at night time. It's what I got it in for. It just happens that I've got another guitar on the neck jig over here. I'm going to have to move that and it'll give it better lighting at night. So, maybe I'll show you why I'm here. I'm not going to be doing it right now proper because I don't have anything under the neck. But how I polish frets is first I'll go along the length of the neck. Polish the bevels like so. Just gentle, and again this side. And when it comes to polishing the frets with fingerboard protector, we're just going over the top of the fret. I can't really show you. I can show you like this. Just straight over the top of the fret. Can't do any more. This fret is barely over the top of this fingerboard guard. That's how weedy and low these frets are. And that one's looking pretty nice. And I'm going to do the same with the rest of them. Can't do any more than that, but there's no height to these frets at all. They might even be down as low as 0.5 millimetre in some areas. But you know, we do our best, don't we? So I'm going to crack on, get these done. Once they're done, I'm going to put the neck back on the guitar using the shims I have shown you. I will glue those shims together and put a drop of glue inside the heel to hold the shim in the correct place. Ideally we would make a shim from, I do have some veneer, some maple veneer knocking about. I may actually make a proper shim, but while we're just bodging this anyway until we do a refret whenever, we may as well just stick some card under there, as Fender do anyway. So I'm going to crack on with it. I'm going to get this polished, I'm going to get it back on the guitar, and I don't know if I'm going to come back later and show you, but I may do, so see you soon. Because the frets are so low, I'm really struggling using the fretboard protectors, so I'm going to do it the old fashioned way and tape up the fingerboard, and it is a lot of hassle just to polish the frets, but I don't really have much choice. So I also have cracked a nail there, and I took half my nail off that's over the part that shouldn't be missing. I'm a postman and I've done this on a letterbox, and it really hurts and really yawps at the moment, so I'm probably better doing this way easier because I can polish them easier and I don't actually press down as much. So take some tape, I'm going to tape up the fingerboard. First I'm just going to bang some down the side. This just makes it easier to remove the tape later on. I'll show you exactly what I mean in a second. So I'll do this along the whole length of the guitar, but I'm just showing you how we tape up the fingerboard for fret polishing. And yeah, it'd be great if I didn't have to do this, it'd be a lot quicker. But this is what we do, and you see how it works. And the reason we put these strips down the side is we can pull that up and it'll bring all the tape off in one go. So let me just show you how we work this. Really, really simple. Like so, then we take the piece, we rip it down the centre, and voila. So I'm going to tape up the whole fingerboard so I can polish the frets properly, using different widths of paper. As I get down the board, I'll use a 19mm, that's 25mm, 19mm, 6mm. Yeah, I think you get the idea. Don't really need to tape that up, it just makes it look better. So I'm going to crack on, get this all taped up. Then I'm going to polish the frets. And then I'm going to continue doing the jobs I've already mentioned. So a slightly better way of polishing frets, and this way you're going to get a good polish because you don't have you're not being impeded by the thickness of the fingerboard guard. And I'll be honest, this fingerboard guard is nearly the same height as the frets I want to got in at the frets. Just shows you how low these frets are. But anyway, as showed before, down the side of the bevels first, and then just polish over the frets. It's really, really easy. Straight over, get into the corners. Well, there's no corners on these, are flat. So more or less straight over the fret. Probably not got enough steel wool here, but I've got plenty on a roll. But there you go, that's two done. I'm going to show you the difference between the two done, the rest of them. These two are done, the rest of them are not. Massive difference. It's not going to take me long to do these, it's not a big job. We're not doing 5 different grits of sandpaper polish. And as you can see, these frets are really quite flat. There's not enough meat on there to recrown them. Are these going to be buzz free? I hope so. I've recommended a refret. If you're not buzz free, I can hardly be blamed for that. I've recommended a refret. You know, I'm sure James will bring it back for a refret in due course. It's all about getting this guitar playable for now. And if nothing else, we've shown that the guitar is not a wreck. I'm going to put a temporary shim in my neck pocket as well. In the future, when it comes to doing the refret, in the future I will make a shim from some veneer, some maple veneer I have, and we'll make a cheese wedge shape, so it will be the proper shape, because it's all about contact between the base of the neck and the neck pocket. We don't really need or want any gaps. We want full contacts. Better that we make a cheese wedge type shim. Just about running out of sandpaper here. Not sandpaper, but steel wool. But you see how this works. Oh wow, there's nothing on this fret at all. These frets certainly look a lot better. I've done up to here. Come grab some more steel wool. Just check that message. That way message is from my wife, I believe. Let's have a look. Fine. It's all good. Grab a little bit more steel wool. We can add it to the piece we've already used, and that will give us a lot more. And there you go. How's that? You notice I put an old tea towel down to catch all the filings. Going back this way, just getting right into the corners, all the edges of the frets where there's been a build up of grime over the years, dead skin. And there we are all done. That's the frets polished. And now I'll show you why. I'll put a strip of tape along the length of the neck, and it's so you can get it off, or get all the tape off in one go. More or less in one go. Voila, out of the way. That is the frets leveled and polished. Just show you how we are. And there you go, how's that? Very, very nice. Just before I put the neck on, there is the shim. That's how it's going to sit, with smaller piece underneath, this piece on top. It should give us a nice connection right in at the end of the neck as well. I'm missing a screw, it's over on the other bench. We'll get rid of that in a minute. With the shims in place, we're going to get a much better action at the big end. Just bring them close. I always like to finish off by hand. You can't even see what I'm doing. So I always like to finish putting these neck screws in by hand. Sorry about that, I was on camera, not thinking again. These videos aren't meant to be professional quality, they are for the owner of the guitar. Saying that, it doesn't give me reason to not have the camera on the work I'm doing. So there we go, we have the neck back on the guitar, we have the frets levelled and polished, ready now to put some strings back on the guitar. I'm going to do that in a moment, and I'll come back and give you an update in a little while. Hello again, fret friends, it is next day. I've finished my shift at Royal Mail. I've set up the guitar by setting up, we've set the neck, I've set the radius on the saddles, set the action at the 12th fret, set the intonation, got the guitar in tune, stretched the strings so everything's at pitch. I'm happy with the amount of relief in the neck. I've not measured it yet, but it will be around about 0.2 millimeters at the 5th or 6th fret. Don't need to measure it because I can see I've just had a look. And there's one more thing to do, that is to cut the nut slots. Now, this is a left-handed guitar, so I'm working upside down, and I'm going to explain what depths I cut the slots to. And on the bass side, the gap from the top of the fret to the bottom of the string I like to be about 0.3 millimeters, and on the treble side I like to be about 0.2 millimeters. So I'm going to work it backwards. I've got a 942 set of Ernie Ball slinkies on there, so I'm going to try and grab a 0.2 millimeters feeler gauge, which I've got there. Have a look at the string, and we've got quite a way to go on that one. So without further ado, I'm going to be using my Hosco files, which I have all the ones I need out. So that's it, 013. I'm going to need the 010, which equates to a 10 string. Well, this is a 9, 11, 16, 24, 32, 42. I don't have a 9, so I'm using a 10. And the great thing about these files, these Hosco ones, is they cut a perfect U shape or a semicircle you need for the strings. So just a matter of into the slot, nice and steady, angle it slightly toward the machine heads. Don't go mental, cut it too deep, you'll be replacing the nut. It's going to cost you money and time. Just got a little bit to go. I need a cloth, that's it. Always clean your file. These ones, they can sometimes take a little while to start cutting properly. Very tough nut, this one. It is a bone nut. That's a nice cut there. I know we were cutting there, definitely. That's low enough. Next one, 13. clean the file, put it away. Doesn't take too long to do this. But everything on my setup is done bar cutting the nut slots. It's always the last thing I do when doing a setup. And as a rule, when I'm doing a setup, I try and get the neck set. So normally I set the neck straight before I put strings on. And when I put strings on at tension, we normally got the right amount of relief. So I did that with this. Then I will go to the action. I won't go to the action at the 12th fret. I will go to doing the radius on the saddles and set the action at the 12th fret at the same time. At the 12th fret on the bass side, I like a gap of 1.75mm. On the treble side, 1.5mm. Once that's done, I set, that's from just the two outside strings I set. Then I'll set the radius in the middle. Once that's done, we can then come to do the nut. So the next one, 13. We're going slightly higher than 0.2, so that's a lot higher at the moment. But take your time. Just check that with 0.25 because we're getting there with that one. Still a little bit high, so keep going. There you go. Next one will be the 16. And you get the idea. Don't need to remove too much from this one. Just have a check with the gauge again. Now we're at 0.25. Just want this one touching. It is a bone nut on this guitar. Okay, need to hold that string out of the way because it doesn't want to stay out of the way. Just ring in, that's fine. Move on to the next one, which is the 24. I don't normally show all of this, I normally do a couple. You can guess the rest, but today, because it's going to be a short video anyway, I'm going to do all of them. It being a lefty as well, don't normally do them all. Well, I do and don't. Things with it being a lefty, it's normally a little bit more difficult, so I take a bit more time, but this is going quite well. Let me see if I'll bring it over there. There you go. I'll hold it a little bit better. Looks to be pretty low now. Perfect. And on the next two, we're going to look at about 0.3. I'll go a bit under 0.3 there, 0.3 on that one. So I'm going to change the gauge. Again, I want a good rattle on this one and hardly a rattle at all on that one. So this string will be the 32. Fair way to go on that. Out of the way, put that one over there. Got a fair way to go yet. Still got a bit of a way to go, but like I say, little small cuts, keep checking, it's not a race. It's nice. Last one. Quite a way to go on this one. It's very high. There you go, 42, which is the last one. Just about there. Looks to be pretty good. And I'm happy with that. So that is the nut slots cut. I'm going to stretch the strings in one more time. And once that's done, the guitar will be finished and the owner can come and pick it up. And there we are, fret friends, all done. And it's a lefty, so I'm going to show you the guitar upside down. Beautiful, beautiful weight to this. And there you go. So we have a mid-80s Tokai Breezysound Telecaster. Came in with a couple of problems, well, quite a few problems. The tone pot wasn't working at all. We've sorted that out. We've changed the pot. We didn't notice at the time, but the neck angle was completely wrong. The action was mentally high. So what I've done, I've had to shim the neck. The frets were all over the place and they are very worn and very flat. Now, the owner could not afford or could not yet afford a refret, which I recommended. So I've given a fret level. I've done him a cheap fret level as well. I've knocked him quite a bit of money off. Done him a cheap fret level, but the problem with that is the frets are too low to recrown, so I couldn't recrown them, but I have polished them. It does play nice. I've got the action nice and low, especially with the neck reset and shimmed. So a good setup, I said a proper setup. We've set the action at the 12th fret correctly. We've set the saddles to the radius of the finger. In fact, not to radius of the fingerboard, it's a 7 1/4 radius. I always set the radius on the bridge to 9 1/2. So we've done that. Everything's at the right height. I'm sure the guitar plays really well. I don't know because it's a lefty and I can't play a lefty. But the setup's done. The last thing I did was cut the nut slots. So the guitar's had a complete fret level and a setup. And a new pot and a neck reset. So looks fantastic. Sure it's going to play well. James is on his way round. I'm sure he's going to play it when he gets here, and I'm sure he's going to be happy. I'm never happy putting my name to jobs like this where I recommend something and the client either cannot afford it or doesn't go for it straight away. He does know it needs a refret. End of the day, with the guitar as it is, even though the frets are quite flat now, it will play nice. It'll probably play nice for another couple of years, but I still recommend a refret. There's no guarantee with this, being as that the work I recommended has not been done, but I will do my utmost if there's anything wrong to put it right anyway, as I always do. I'm sure James is going to be very happy. Let's get the guitar right way. Sure James is going to be very happy with this. It's a new client. I've known him for quite a while. Had a couple of beers with him over the years. I'm sure he'll be really happy with it anyway, but I can do nothing else other than what I have done. Nice project, lovely, lovely guitar. What a weight. This might be heavier than my American Standard, you know. Wow, I love the weight of this guitar. But anyway, it's all done. Made in Japan, Tokai Breezysound. What a lovely guitar. But it's all done. Just before I go, I'm going to remind you my website. Facebook.com/NG17. That's Facebook.com/NGONESEVEN. You can always check me at fretfriend.co.uk. Just before I go, just a reminder, new set of strings on there. Some super slinky Ernie balls. Forgot to mention that. But that's it. This project is done. So until the next one, as always, God bless you. Be good to each other. And I'll see you in the next one.